The Two Maidens. Do you know what a rammer looks like? It's a kind of a tool that workmen use when they pave a street with cobblestones. Now, in Denmark, it's called a maiden. Therefore, it's appropriate we'll use the feminine gender when describing it. Now, she is made of a solid piece of wood, broad at the base and reinforced with heavy iron bands. Her top is quite slender and has two arms. These the workman holds when he uses the maiden to stamp the cobblestones into place. Now, in a tool shed, among all the shovels and measuring rods and wheelbarrows, there were stood two such rammers or maidens. They had heard that it had been decided they were no longer to be called maidens, but were to be called stampers instead. This was considered a great innovation in the Danish language, and a technical one that every layer of cobblestones approved of. Among human beings there exists a group called emancipated women. To this category belong the headmistress of schools, midwives, dancers who can stand professionally on one leg, milliners and nurses. The two maidens from the tool shed decided they would join this society. After all, they were employed by the Ministry of Works. They didn't want to lose their ancient and honourable title and just be called stampers. Maiden is a human name. A stamper is a thing. We will not allow ourselves to be called things. It's an insult. My fiancé might break off our engagement when he hears of it, said the younger. She was engaged to a pile driver, which is a machine that drives piles far into the ground, and it does the heavy work, and the rammers, or maidens, or that which is more refined. He's learned to love me as a maiden. How do I know he will feel the same way towards me when I'm a stamper? I won't allow them to change my name. I'd rather have my arms broken than permit it, wailed the older of them. The wheelbarrow was of a different opinion, and a wheelbarrow is somebody in that society. He considered himself 1/4 carriage because he had one wheel. The name maiden is rather ordinary or common, whereas the word stamper signifies that one is related to a signet, which stamps too. For example, the royal seal stamps. If I were you, I'd gladly give up the name maiden. No, never! I'm too old for that, shouted the elder of the rammers. I think you're all unaware of something called European standards, said an honest old measuring rod, who had been retired because he was inaccurate. One has to know one's limitations and submit to time and necessity. If a law has been passed that maidens are to be called stampers, they must be called that. Everything has only one measured time here on earth, even a name. How would you change mine? Said the younger of the two rammers. And I should prefer something feminine like Miss. I should prefer to be chopped into firewood, said the elder of the two, who in truth was an old maid. Well, they all went to work. The two maidens were driven in a wheelbarrow, which was a respectable way to travel. They were never called stampers. Maid, they said every time they hit a cobblestone. Maid! They would have pronounced their names in full, but were too angry and bit it off short. Among themselves, they always used the name maiden. And they talked well of the good old times when things were called by their proper names. Maidens they remained, both of them. For the pile driver broke off his engagement to the younger of them. He didn't want an affair with a stamper.